Well, I think it's very hard, and I think we have to acknowledge how hugely difficult it is as a young woman today to be brave, because the fear is very, very real. I was talking in a school recently with a group of 12-year-olds, which is a little bit younger than the age group I normally talk with, and so I was doing a quite different presentation than I normally do, and we were just asking and answering a lot of questions to get the ball rolling and get the conversation going, and we were talking about, you know, quick questions and answers about gender stereotypes and all sorts of things. And one of the icebreaker questions I asked them was, how might your life be different if you were the opposite sex? And I expected them to say things like, oh, I might have to play different sports, or I might wear different clothes, or I might be given different toys, and that would be an opening to talk about gender stereotypes. And the first girl who put her hand up, she was 12 years old, and she very quietly said, you wouldn't have to be scared all the time. And every single girl after that who put her hand up talked about fear. And it took my breath away. I just wasn't expecting it. And these 12-year-old girls talked about crossing the street to avoid groups of men. They talked about having to go home in groups during the winter term because it was dark when they finished school. One of them talked about gripping her hockey stick as she walked home from practice in case a man attacked her. And by the age of 12, these girls had learned that something awful might happen to them. And unfortunately, that is a very real fear, and the society we live in has made them feel that way. So I think we mustn't be glib about saying, you just need to find courage, you just need to be brave. I think we very commonly want to kind of have an empowering idea of, how can we teach girls to cope with all this? You know, how can we teach them to just jump over that hurdle, and what tips can we give them to get around these sexist hurdles that are in their way? And I feel really strongly that perhaps after years and years of teaching them to jump higher, it's time to look at taking the hurdles away, at fixing the world instead of fixing the girls.